Historically, up until very recently, white women were part of the owned group. We were property, right? We were property ourselves. And as we know, the United States was built for rich white men, by rich white men. Again, we white women, we fit into that property class. We were owned too, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't even close to the same, because white women still being women, say it with me, we were white, and we still are white. Tough week to be a woman. I mean, every week is a tough week to be a woman, but last week in the United States was a real fucking tough week to be a woman. 2 members of our House of Representatives resigned amid rape and sexual misconduct allegations. Eric Swalwell and Tony Gonzalez. Now, Eric Swalwell is the Democratic forerunner for the California gubernatorial race, and for apparently decades, women have been reporting on it. Women have been reporting on him. Women have been taking it to his colleagues, to his friends. He has been very gross for a very long time. And now this has led to 2 different criminal investigations. It also led former leader of the House, Kevin McCarthy, to come out and say, everyone knew. Everyone knew. Everyone knew. Tony Gonzalez resigned amidst sexual misconduct allegations, but his aide had already passed. She took her own life. She took her own life and was found in her own driveway on fire after her husband sent many a text about the affair, after she texted the congressman numerous times. It had gone way too far. And before you come for me and say, oh, it was an affair, she shouldn't, no, shut the fuck up. Affairs aren't good, no. But nobody should have died. No one should have died, let alone been found burnt to death, let alone been in the hospital after being burnt to death, telling her mom she didn't want to die. It's been ruled self-inflicted. By the way, this is all happening, of course, under the overarching umbrella of the Epstein file. And also Sam Altman's younger sister claiming that he raped her from the ages of like as early as she can remember, until 12 when he was 21 years old. So tough week to be a lady. Yeah. Oh God, I forgot. Last week, the former lieutenant governor of Virginia murdered his own wife and then took his own life and left the bodies for children to find in the house. The women of the United States are fucking raging, understandably. And I'm not surprised about the men defending men, or even the women defending the men at this point. Frankly, none of that is what this is about, actually. This is a lineup for you to understand how angry the women are in the United States. But this is American Lies. This is a series that will, I think, probably likely become my life's work, where we talk about the lies told to white Americans to keep us separate from our black and brown brothers and sisters in an effort to control all of us. Yeah. And the lie is this, right? We can torch the patriarchy without talking about white supremacy. Anger is righteous. We should be. This is bullshit. People covered this shit up for years, right? Kevin McCarthy said that everyone knew. We should be angry, but we cannot talk about the patriarchy without white supremacy. And every single time I bring up white supremacy, the refrain from white women is this: it's got to be the patriarchy, Amy. The patriarchy must be worse than white supremacy. Because we white women, I am white women, don't you forget it. We've done nothing. Nothing. Which is historically so fucking inaccurate, but it does absolve us in a little bit of a way, right? We can just blame the men. I know that's why white women do it. Despite the fact that we are a load-bearing demographic for both the patriarchy and white supremacy, and these are the systems of both of these things, yeah? White women have been trained to play the victim so much and so well over the last 400 years in the United States that it could have possibly had anything to do with us. So let's dive into this lie, this American lie, that white women are the victims of the patriarchy and therefore couldn't have anything possibly to do with part of the problem of white supremacy, because they are, still were victims themselves. I say load-bearing in both of these systems for a reason, right? We've heard of internalized misogyny. We know that women have been treated in a way and conditioned in a way to not just hate themselves, but hate other women, especially white women. That's part of the design of this horrifying combo of systems that we have. Again, both the patriarchy and the white supremacy, right? Because there is a competition aspect to white supremacy that lends itself to women under the patriarchy not having any sort of community, especially white, right? Rather than working together, we compete against each other. Some of our first competition is seen as our mothers, or vice versa, right? Our mothers see us as the first competition. So, because we women are complex creatures and our space in the social hierarchy that is not real, that is made up, it's a fucking fugazi that we can change at any moment in time, is so interesting. We're going to talk about that. So let's start with history first. And for books specifically, I need you to read They Were Her Property by Stephanie E. Jones Rogers. You can find a book list in the description of this video. Or Selling Hate, Marketing the Klan. There's more books as well that I think you'll find really interesting. As a reminder from last week, part of this series' goal is to understand our history. Because without understanding our history as white folks in the United States, we will never break free from it, truly. So historically, up until very recently, white women were part of the owned group. We were property, right? We were property ourselves. And as we know, the United States was built for rich white men, by rich white men. Again, we white women, we fit into that property class. We were owned too, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't even close to the same, because white women still being women, say it with me, we were white. And we still are white. So this is where we fit into that interesting load-bearing demographic of both systems. Because of our precarious position in the white man's world, we were a victim of the patriarchies, whilst being the oppressors under the system of white supremacy. Our tiers have leveled entire towns. Entire towns. We're talking Greenwood. We're talking Rosewood. We're talking the summer of 1919. It started because a black man trips, falls, and touches a white woman's ankle. That is what kicks off months of racial violence, and that is white people against black Americans. That's it, right? Across the entire country. We were fashioned into a tool, white women of our ancestry, to be wielded not just by the white men in power, but also by the white women themselves, unlike Carolyn Bryant, who accused the brute of a man, big air quotes there, 14-year-old Emmett Till, of sexually harassing her, of whistling, of doing all of these things, though we know she fucking lied, which led to him being brutally tortured and murdered. We were fashioned into a battering ram. Our white women's innocence always needed to be protected, big air quotes on the innocence. And white women leveraged this opportunity as a tool as well. When we talk about Rosewood, specifically in Florida, book for this is Like Judgment Day. You should read it. It's unbelievable. A white woman was having a consensual affair with a black man. And when her husband saw the black man in her house, she cried rape. And there's another interesting aspect to all of this of why we don't believe women even to this day. Is it because white women always lied? I don't know. You tell me. You might be saying, Amy, that's so long ago. So long ago. So long ago. It wasn't. The term parenting is literally for white women who call the police on black folks who are literally just black folks having fun in the era of camera phones. Modern day, right? The Central Park birdwatching incident where Christian Cooper was policed by a white woman, Amy Cooper, big disgrace to my name personally, which happened in 2020. And this man, thank God, has gone on to win an Emmy. He lives his best life. He is doing great. But you cannot say that white women do not do this to this day, right? Parenting is the oldest tool in the white supremacy playbook. The crying white woman begging for the authorities' help because of the scary non-white, usually black men or boys. They're coming to get her. In recent years, of course, parenting has expanded to all non-white folks, right? Fuck, dude, the very first trend I saw on TikTok was white women crying, morphing into this Cheshire cat smile. It was fucking terrifying. So we white women, we can be incensed over this patriarchy, and we should be. Our anger is righteous. I'll say it a million times. But we are in a unique position in this hierarchy, born both out of the systems of white supremacy and the patriarchy. And while we instinctually want to play the victim because of generations and generations of being bred for exactly that, we can also play that role of oppressor again because of generations and generations and generations of conditioning to that. But I think right now is time that we step into our fucking power. A power that I know we actually have, that I see a lot of white women wield as they wish. Could you imagine what a force of nature white women would be to be reckoned with if we actually worked together, if we stepped away from that whiteness that we've been so conditioned to rely upon, if we stepped away from the white man we were bred to seek, to find, to align ourselves with, because that's our only semblance of power. That's not our power. Our power derives from the fact that there's 50-something% of us that we raise the next generations, whether we're parents or not. Women, no matter whether they have children or not, are raising the next generations. We have the power. And I know you're saying, Amy, a lot of white women, they voted for Donald Trump. 1/3 of the American voters eligible to vote did not show up in 2020. Half of the white women who showed up voted for Donald Trump. So in my estimation, about 2/3 of the white women do not believe in what is happening. And if we use this entry point of patriarchy to discuss other systems that have been holding us down, that have been lying to us constantly, that have been part of this idea to divide and conquer all of us, I think we can win over that 2/3. What do you think? What do you think the future of the United States looks like if white women step away from their whiteness? If they step into their marginalized community hat and they actually learn how to work with each other, if we build our community, we stop competing, we stop playing into the patriarchal system and the white supremacist system that has kept us so isolated and alone all along. I think we could take this demographic. I think we could tear the system the fuck down. But I need you to understand we can't tear patriarchy down without tearing white supremacy down. Nor can we tear white supremacy down without the patriarchy. So use your anger. Use your anger around the patriarchy. Lean into it. Get real fucking angry. Get angry about white supremacy too. Because they're inextricably linked and we need to take them both down. Oh, and by the way, if you're coming out of this video being like, oh man, this is great news. I've never heard of this. You're not listening to Black women, to Indigenous women, to immigrant women, to brown women. And no, they have been screaming this for years. Years and years and years. And if you're not following them wherever you imbibe your content, if you are not going out of your way to be in community with them, I need you to. And I need you to understand, because of your whiteness, you will not immediately be trusted. It's the whiteness as a system, babes. It's the whiteness as a system. So, what can you do today? You diversify your For You page immediately. Start listening to Black, brown, Indigenous women. Start listening to immigrants' experiences. And then you change how you think about the systems around us. Every single ounce of change is going to start with yourself. And then you take that power that you have running a household and you change your household. What podcasts are you guys listening to? What books are in your house? What games are you playing? What conversations are you having around the dinner table? How are you having conversations with your white kids? We start there. We start small with ourselves, with our house. We branch into the community. And then you start a women's group in your community. We can make the change that we want to see. Again, we have this power. By my estimation, based off of our specific spot in this hierarchy as white women, we are the third fucking round. That's how powerful we are. So, hop to it. Come back next Friday. We're going to keep talking about the American lies that have been taught to white Americans to keep us separate from our Black and brown brothers and sisters so that they can control us. Right? That's the point. We have to break through these lies so that we can get the things that we want and we need to build the country that we deserve. The one that's going to stand the test of time, because until we deal with white supremacy, we're going to be in this karmic loop for fucking ever. And we deserve better. So we have to demand.